Hey amigos, what's up? How you guys doing? So glad you came by again. I wish I could upload videos a little more often than what I have been doing. I know it's lately been like every 2 weeks or something like that. But anyway, life happens. Wah, I'm gonna quit saying that. So anyway, what am I gonna do today? Well, check this out. Here we are with the Ironhead again. And as you can see, the tank is off of it, mainly because it's got some old gas in it still from 3-4 years ago, and it needs to be cleaned out. It's not going to run yet today, even though I'm getting very close. But one of the things I did that I did not put on camera, check it out. I went ahead and bobbed the fender right there, and I also cut away some material of the fender there. The reason I did that is because I just got to have a place to put my battery, and the fender was in the way, so there wasn't any clearance between the fender and this down post right here. So I just cut that out of the way so I can have some clearance right here, so I want my battery to sit on this piece right here. And it looks like I've had some good success because, check it out, this FX style battery fits right there. But there's another problem. It's kind of a wide battery and it's not all the way center, and I know that once I build my battery box, this battery is going to come over and hit this chain. What am I going to do about that? Well, I had one solution. Check this out. I don't know if you guys remember or how many of you guys have been around since the beginning, but I've decided that I'm going to go with a Yuasa style battery, or there's all kind of styles that Yuasa makes, but I'm a Yuasa battery that the Tramp uses. So what I did, I used the battery as a jig, and I took some angle and cut pieces and welded it up, even though I'm not a good welder, but hey, this will never get looked at. And I welded some nuts on each side and used a piece of flat bar with some bolts and jam nuts, and they hold the battery in place. But what am I going to use? You know, what kind of Yuasa battery? Well, like I said, the same battery that's in the Tramp. I'm going to get another one apparently, and its dimensions are like that. It's a little narrow. So when I stuck it in the bike, check that out. It looks like it belongs there. And it looks like it's got plenty of clearance over there. And the battery is center. So that's what I'm going to go with. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make a battery box a lot like what, well, probably, yeah, exactly like what's in the Tramp, because that's what I remember doing. So I went down to the local hardware store and I got some raw materials, basically a long piece of angle iron, and I have some material here in the shop. I'm not a fab guy, but I'm going to pretend to be one, and I did stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, so not really. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Let's see what I can do. Okay, I have a 4-foot piece of angle right here. Should be plenty for what I'm doing, and it is 2x2 by 1/8 of an inch thick, which is plenty of steel for what I'm going to use it for. And I gotta have my battery that I'm going to use as a jig. So I guess I'm just going to take this right here. I'm going to put it right close to the edge of the angle, right over here. And I'm just going to take my, where's it at? My marker. And I'm going to mark my spots. So let me get my battery positioned how I want it, which it doesn't really look like it's cut all that straight from the factory. So, oh well, that's what grinders are for. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I didn't make the straightest of line, but oh well. It is what it is. So you guys get the picture. At least I hope you do. So I'm going to get my cutting wheel out and I'm just going to lop that section off. Okay, here I go. I got my pieces tacked together. As you can see, I still got a little bit of work to do here, and seems like the battery is going to work well in this. So in case some of you guys are wondering, what the heck do I have here? Well, this is the cheap no-name brand welding machine that it's a 110 welder. Actually, it's a MiG 130 gasless flux core. It doesn't weld very well on cold steel, so I have to take a torch, you know, this thing right here, and heat up my metal. So in case you guys was going to ask me down in the comments what that is, what am I using, that's it. It is kind of a, you know, it is what it is. So off goes the camera, and I'll update you on the next thing I'm about to accomplish. Okay, I'm actually glad I did not film this because of all the grinding dust and sparks and arcs, and not the best environment for electronica. But this is what I've got so far. I got my Gorilla welds on there, a few tacks on the bottom, and you know, fits the battery pretty good. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to find some nuts I'm going to weld on here, or maybe make my own nuts, I'm not sure, and do a strap type situation like this right here, and I'll show you why. I got some bolts through here. There's a jam nut there. I'm just weld a nut there, weld a nut there. Of course, I'm not going to use this. This one here belongs on the tramp. I'm going to end up making my own strap. So let's take a look and see how it looks on the bike. It looks like a nice fit, and it looks like it's going to clear the chain too, which that's good news. So I really don't know what else is next. And here we are again, amigos. It's another day. It's a few days later. I'm a little more woolly than I was the last time you saw me on the last clip. But anyway, it's been a while since I've checked my mail. So I got to thinking I'm not paying for this post office box for nothing. So let's see if I got anything in the mail. Well, I guess TV Page lied to me. They said that my product showed up and it has not showed up. So I guess TV Page quit sending me emails and giving me some kind of BS story how Harley Davidson wants to work with me, okay? I'm done with you guys. Okay, maybe I should explain what I'm talking about. And I usually don't, in fact, I've never done this before, but I just got to get this out there. I've been in communication with a certain company that supposedly they work for Harley Davidson, like they're the middleman. It has something to do with their advertising of their products or something like that. And they sent out an invitation for me to apply for a position or something like that to receive products from Harley Davidson, you know, like apparel or whatever, and speak about it for about 30 seconds, 90 seconds, whatever it is. And, you know, and I'd go in partnerships with them. And anyway, I was a little skeptical about that, but I looked into it and it looked pretty legit. I mean, I'm not going to go into the reasons why I thought it was pretty legit, but they never asked for my social security number. They never asked for like a routing number to my bank account or anything like that. So I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt. Now, maybe somebody on their end is screwing things up and maybe it is legit, but I don't know. The whole deal sounded too good to be true, and I'm more leaning towards the idea that maybe it is too good to be true. Especially when I told them what products I wanted them to send me. They kept saying, oh, they're out of stock. You know, Harley's out of stock, pick something else, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so then I just kind of gave up after the second try, and then they offered for me to tell me to go ahead and maybe buy the product myself and they'll reimburse me. After that, I'm done. Now I got to spend money. This didn't sound right, okay? So anyway, and then I get an email from them saying that my product has showed up. They saw that it showed up, you know. As you saw, I went to go check it out because that's the address I gave them. Maybe they messed up on the address. I don't know. But like I said earlier, it sounded too good to be true, and it looks like it's fake. And so TV Page, whether you're legit or not, quit sending me emails, okay? I'm done with you. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to go down to Lowe's and get some raw materials, some more raw materials, that is, to finish up on building my battery box. And until then, I don't know. We'll see what happens next. Okay, I got some more raw material and some nuts and bolts. And let's just get back to the house. Actually, I got a date with the missus, a lunch date. And I'm gonna do that. Then we'll get back to the house and we'll see what happens next. Okay, lunch date's over with. Back at the shop, and let me show you what I've done so far since the last time I filmed the battery box fabrication, whatever it is I was doing. Okay, so check this out. Okay, as you guys saw, I have a box. Well, actually didn't see the finished 4 walls of it, but anyway, this is it. And I'm not going to weld up the rest of the seams because this will leave an opportunity if the battery ever leaks acid, it'll drain out the bottom. But what I've also done is I've got some nuts welded in on the inside because I've drilled some holes on the bottom as I set this thing on top of that tongue that's on the frame. And how I welded them in, well, once I drilled my holes, I put some bolts through here, and you know, you get the idea. I held them in place and I just tack welded them in with my cheap little welding machine. So I want to put something here, like a weld a nut here and on here to fasten my strap down whenever the battery's in here. As I was showing you guys, like on the Tramp battery box, I'm gonna make a deal like this and see what I can get accomplished or not accomplished, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. And buenos dias, it is the next day and we're having some really nice weather this morning, as to where yesterday was muggy and humid and typical South Mississippi weather around this time of year. But that's useless knowledge. I've got the doors open and it feels really good. So I think on the last clip just a second ago I said I was going to make a strap. What I mean by that, I'm going to make one of these. So I'm going to get to that. I don't know. This whole thing is kind of iffy. I don't really know if it's going to work out the way I want it to, but it's going to work. That's what choppers are. There's no blueprint to it. It just is what it is. Okay, in a perfect world, this should have worked out without any issue. But because when I welded these nuts on the box, they're not exactly perfectly horizontal. So after I drilled my holes, I had to take a round file, and elongate my holes to make things work out. Not very pretty, but for function, it'll work out just fine. So let's see how it looks. And boom, there it is. Not too bad of a turnout. In case you're wondering, check this out. Put a jam nut right there and a jam nut right there, so it'll lock these bolts down so they don't back off. Okay, in case anybody has any questions about the battery resting on top of the nuts that are welded in the box, I didn't include this in the video, but I did do this. That I took some scrap metal that I had laying around and made some shims, and they're laying in the bottom of the box, and the height of them is higher than the nuts, so the battery is very well supported. And there's also some rubber matting material laying between the shims and the battery. So in case if anybody was wondering, that's what I did. I'm going to do a little touching up with the grinder and put a little bit of primer on it, and well, you'll see what I'm talking about. Well, I think I like what I see. Check it out. It came out better than I expected. And to hide my elongated holes, I put a flat washer there and a flat washer there. And you still want a little room for your battery to move. You don't want to like put too much pressure or any pressure on top of it. It's just mainly just to keep it from jumping out. But now that it's all together and painted, let's see how it looks on the bike. And boom, there it is. It fits nice and snug. And I think I like how it turned out. What do you guys think, huh? I know. The wheel's going to sling mud and grime on this thing, and it's going to get all nasty and whatever. But in real life, who in the world ever put enough miles on an iron head to have to worry about that kind of dirt getting on there? Looks like it belongs there. So I can dig it. I gotta have to do something about these oil lines getting too close to the chain. I don't really like that too much. So I am just only one petcock away from starting this thing up. And why do I say that? Well, check it out. This thing's up here. And the reason that gas tank is on the shelf is because I thought about the other day about draining the fuel out, because it's been in there for about 3 years, maybe 4 years. I don't know. It's been a while. So when I opened that gas cap, the liner was just off of it, right? I had to pull chunks of liner out, dump the old fuel out. I mean, the liner was it just came apart. And shining a light down inside that gas tank, the corrosion is just so bad, it's not salvageable. So that gas tank is not going to be used on this bike. But guess what I did have? I had another gas tank sitting on the shelf. Imagine that. The benefits of collecting motorcycle parts. But yeah, that's that. I mean, I've got my oil lines all hooked up. I got everything's hooked up. But like I said, I'm just one petcock away from firing this thing up. And the reason why I say that and there's not one on there is because I don't have the one I need. I need one that's like a 90 and it goes this way so that this fuel line can hook to it. And I have one coming from TC Bros. So it should be here in a few days. I'm not sure when it's showing up. But yeah, that's that. And before I leave you guys, I just want to remind some of you, and even you new subscribers, I do have a Patreon that I'm trying to figure out how to run it. But if you guys want to be a part of this channel in some kind of way, the link's down below, and you can choose whatever route you want to go with that. I don't know what the heck I'm going to film next, but hopefully it is enough to keep your guys' attention. Like maybe this thing will be running on the next video. I don't know. Who knows what's next? But until then, you guys keep the rubber side down, and you be good to yourselves. Thanks a lot.